After Wuthering Wave's first CBT ended last year, it was met with mixed receptions. We waited for almost half a year without seeing any major updates to the game besides the occasional character PVs. Now, with the second CBT being officially announced, the devs released an extensive dev talk video addressing all the players concerned and revealing what they've been cooking up over the past few months regarding core gameplay elements like the story, the combat system, the world design, and more. This video will be a quick and comprehensive summary of the key points of that video to help you catch up with and expect all the upcoming changes that you will find in the upcoming CBT. The link to the original video will also be in the description below. The devs start off by acknowledging the mixed receptions to the game's first CBT and shares their responses. They say that they've always cared deeply about players' feedback for the game, regardless of whether they are coming from official questionnaire or online platforms like Discord. The dev is assuring the community that regardless of what suggestions or concerns that you may have for the game, if they are constructive and you voice them out, the devs will be listening tentatively, as you guys are one of the main sources from which they draw inspiration and motivation. They express that they've been prioritizing improving and refining their environment design, such as adding in extra assets, enhancing the rendering and shaders. They emphasize that the main goal is still to convey a heavy post-apocalyptic atmosphere. The only difference is that now the world will see a much more complete and detailed facelift. Additionally, they've also added in a dynamic atmospheric system that will help elevate and emphasize the mood of a given area. For example, you can expect to experience a relaxed and chill environment in safe areas like the cities. The devs have also taken inspiration from famous anime series to improve the look of the game with regards to the colors and shadings of it. And from the gameplay previews that we've been seeing so far, it is clearly a major step up from the previous CBT. And you guys might also be wondering, will this look stay the same for different platforms as well? Unfortunately, while the devs do say that this has been an issue that they've been trying to tackle and hope that they can guarantee the consistency, we don't really see any gameplay previews from different platforms that might validate that. The dev goes on to show off a dynamic weathering system that ranges from simple things like floating clouds, lightning storms, to more abnormal and exclusive ones that are tied to players' progression in the plot or specific areas relevant to lore-related quests. Major POIs in the world have also seen revisions and redesigns which will help them stand out more from one another and look more memorable. New dungeons have also been added into the game, many of which will be individually tied to characters and their side stories. A lot of them so far, in my opinion, looks distinctive and sick as hell, and I hope most of the testers will also feel the same when they eventually try them out. Next topic for the discussion is the story, and if you guys don't know, it received many criticisms and sparked heated debates in the community. So how did the team respond to this? Well, although it was a tough decision to make, the devs confirmed that they have made significant changes and revisions to the story. But since they didn't want to spoil it, they only claimed that up to 90% of the story has been completely rewritten. This includes everything like the scripts, voice acting, structures of the quest, and many more. Of course, whether the quality of the story has truly improved or regressed is yet to be seen. Regardless, the devs have been incredibly hard at work to accommodate these numerous changes while having less than a year to work on them. They sincerely hope that the players will enjoy the new story as well. Next up, if you have been following the game for the past few months, you've probably noticed that some characters have been seeing minor and subtle changes to their appearances. First, characters have been given new poses and idle animations to help give them more liveliness and personality. Character models are also seeing changes and updates with regards to their texture, body shape, and design. Most interestingly, players will see the inclusion of more than one new playable character in the upcoming CBT. Additionally, the character skills VFX have also seen improvements alongside subtle changes to the camera angle during them. Other general characters animation like running, dodging, and parrying have also been improved. The devs also addressed the camera wobbles during combat. Here, we can see that they have toned them down. Camera will only shake during really heavy hits and won't shake around as much. A lot of bosses will even have their own customized camera tracking. Hopefully, this will make combat easier to follow and less disorienting. Another key gameplay element in the game is the QTE system, and it also has been seeing some new updates. Now, the system is being referred to as the intro skill and outro skill system. Correct me if I'm wrong, but judging from the gameplay preview, it seems what this new system means is that when you have your resonance energy gauge filled, characters that switch into the battlefield will trigger their intro skill, and the character that got switched out will also trigger their outro skill at the same time. The devs state that these skills will be different for each character, so I'm hoping to see some creative team comps. Another mechanic to the game, Tesset Discord, or the ecosystem as players would call it, where you essentially collect bosses and enemies like Pokemons and use their attacks as skills, is also seeing adjustments and optimizations. Some echoes will now have different animation skills with improved camera tracking, and some will even have unique attacks that can be used to parry crucial attacks from bosses. In one example being shown here, we can see Crownless flying up and charging a devastating attack, indicated by the flashing red light, and the player can use an echo skill to also fly up and parry the move, knocking Crownless down and opening up opportunities for DPSing. Two other minor changes were also made to improve the presentation of the ecosystem, namely the UI screen and the model viewer screen. Additionally, rare variations of the enemies will occasionally appear in the world. You can collect them and show them off to your friends during co-op mode. In the previous CBT, many players had problems with raising these echoes or grinding them for specific stats, so the devs have introduced a way to help ease the process. Basically, you can go to a specific location to farm for extra copies of an echo, in addition to just farming them from the open world now. The echo sets have also been simplified so players will have an easier time completing one, and the UI is getting quality of life improvements to help with navigating through it. Hardcore action game devotees can also rejoice as high difficulty stages featuring bosses have been added. Here, the players can test their skills and earn unique echoes upon completion. Finally, we've reached the conclusion of today's video, and the content being shown so far here is honestly promising. It's undeniable that the game has shown many improvements since we got the last true hands-on look with the game's last CBT. Of course, the changes being shown here are mainly major elements of the game, and we can expect to see many more minor ones when we eventually get to test the game out. Are there other specific aspects of the game that you wanted to hear more about but unfortunately weren't included in the video? Personally, I would have liked to see how explorations have been worked upon, like how they have changed the open world puzzles or what sorts of secrets can we expect to find while exploring. But anyway, thank you all for sticking to the end of this video, and until next time, see you guys.